Sometimes a game comes out that's so huge, so groundbreaking, that it ends up overshadowing other games that may have otherwise been quite successful. When the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was released, it had this chilling effect on just about every extreme sports game that had either just come out, was in development, or on the precipice of release. But there was no game its release affected more than Thrasher Presents Skate and Destroy. Released just 3 days before Tony Hawk, Thrasher was the skate of its day, realistic and more of a skateboarding sim than an arcadey high-score generator like Tony Hawk. But Thrasher is also far less intuitive than the modern Skate series ever was, requiring you to pull off horribly arcane combos using the face buttons, shoulder buttons, and D-pad in concert. It's tempting to think that support for the analog stick may have helped, but given the precise nature of the game's controls, trying to pull off combos using an analog stick may have actually ended up being worse. But you can master obtuse controls eventually. Given enough time, you can figure out even the most arcane of interfaces. But what you can't solve are weird glitches, which Thrasher has in abundance. They're not always game-breaking. In fact, the glitches in the game's ragdoll system are usually quite amusing. But when the game fails to connect you to a grind rail, or the camera decides to go completely out of control, it no longer feels like you're to blame for a lost run. And that's probably the most frustrating thing that can happen in a game that requires you to constantly improve as you make your way through it. By the last few levels, I had become quite unhappy with the game's imperfections, because while they were usually small, they seemed to be enough to ruin runs that were going great. Add that to the fact that the game does a miserable job of doing anything to help you improve, and it has a really high difficulty curve. The game has no real objectives, anything to do except hit high scores. And that's probably the biggest problem with the design of Thrasher. Tony Hawk and its ilk, even later more realistic skating games like the aforementioned Skate series, all have objectives to help you get better, to teach you how to improve without just telling you to get a higher score, without managing to subtly or overtly teach you how to get that higher score. Now, there's definitely a part of me that enjoys the challenge that Thrasher presents you with, revels in it even, but challenge alone can't lift this game above its many other shortcomings. Thrasher is interesting as a historical period piece, a peek into what would have been if the extreme sport genre had taken a route not so heavily influenced by Tony Hawk. But if you're looking for a more serious skating game in this day and age, the 3 skate games that EA put out are a much better bet. In a lot of ways, they feel like spiritual successors to Thrasher, albeit ones that fix many of their predecessors' flaws. Every Monday, I look at a game that's at least 10 years old, and I see if it's held up today, if it's still worth playing now. If you like that idea, be sure to subscribe so you can see the latest videos. If you like this video in particular, be sure to hit that like button, and thanks for watching.